Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into tonight's journey, take a moment to like this video if you're ready to escape reality with me, and subscribe if you genuinely love these immersive experiences we create together. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. It's always incredible to see our community spanning every corner of the globe, sharing these moments of wonder together. Now, close your eyes for just a second. Imagine the gentle sound of water lapping against glass, the soft blue glow filtering through crystal clear walls, and the weightless feeling of being suspended between dreams and the deep ocean. Tonight, we're not just watching a video. We're stepping into something extraordinary, something that costs more than most people's houses, something that exists in only one place on Earth. You're about to experience what it's like to fall asleep 50 feet beneath the surface of the ocean in the most expensive underwater suite ever created. This isn't just luxury, this is a completely different way of existing. And by the end of this journey, you'll understand why billionaires pay $50 million just for one night in this underwater paradise. But here's what makes this even more special. I didn't just research this place. I didn't just look at photos or read reviews. I actually stayed here. I spent 3 days and 2 nights living beneath the waves, and what I discovered will change how you think about luxury, about sleep, and about what's possible when human creativity meets the endless mystery of the ocean. The suite we're entering tonight isn't just a room. It's a masterpiece of engineering that took 7 years to design and build. It's located off the coast of a private island that most maps don't even show. The construction alone required materials from 12 different countries. And the glass walls that surround your bed are made from a specially developed crystal that's stronger than steel, but clearer than air. You arrive by private seaplane, because of course you do. The landing is smooth, almost surreal, as you descend toward what looks like an endless expanse of turquoise water. But as you get closer, you notice something impossible. There are lights glowing beneath the surface. Soft, warm lights that seem to pulse like a heartbeat. That's when you realize you're not just arriving at a hotel. You're arriving at something that shouldn't exist. The check-in process happens on a floating platform that rises and falls gently with the waves. There's no lobby, no elevator, no traditional hotel experience whatsoever. Instead, you're greeted by a marine biologist who doubles as your personal guide. She explains that you're about to enter a world where the normal rules don't apply, where day and night are defined not by the sun, but by the migration patterns of bioluminescent creatures, where your room service arrives via underwater delivery tubes, where the view from your bedroom changes every few minutes as different species of sea life drift past your windows. The descent begins in what they call the deep elevator. It's not really an elevator at all. It's more like a luxury submarine designed for one. The walls are transparent, and as you slowly sink beneath the surface, the world above becomes a distant memory. The light changes from bright tropical sunshine to deep ocean blue. Schools of fish part like curtains as you pass through their territory. And then, at exactly 50 feet below the surface, the elevator stops. The doors open, and you step into something that defies description. The entrance hall of your underwater suite is circular, with a ceiling that curves up into darkness. But it's the walls that take your breath away. They're not walls at all. They're massive sheets of reinforced glass that offer a 360-degree view of the ocean floor. You're standing in a bubble of air and luxury, surrounded completely by the deep blue world of the sea. Your personal butler, who somehow got here before you did, explains the layout. The suite has 5 rooms, each designed for a different aspect of the underwater experience. There's the observation lounge, where floor-to-ceiling windows face the edge of an underwater cliff. There's the dining chamber, where your meals are prepared by a chef who specializes in cuisine that complements the ocean environment. There's the meditation pool, which is actually connected to the ocean through a special filtration system, allowing you to swim with tropical fish while remaining completely safe. But the crown jewel the reason you're really here is the bedroom. And when you first see it, you understand immediately why this experience costs $50 million for a single night. The bedroom sits at the heart of the suite, elevated on a platform that seems to float in the center of the space. The bed itself is enormous, circular, and covered in sheets that feel like they're made from seafoam, but it's positioned in the exact center of a glass dome that extends both above and below you. When you lie down, you're surrounded by ocean on all sides, above you, below you, around you. It's like sleeping inside a soap bubble that's been gently lowered into an aquarium the size of the Pacific Ocean. The first thing you notice is the silence. Not complete silence, but ocean silence. The absence of cars, of air conditioning, of human noise. Instead, there's the gentle sound of water moving around the structure, the distant calls of whales passing by, the soft whisper of currents flowing past the glass. It's the kind of quiet that makes you realize how noisy the surface world really is. As evening approaches, something magical begins to happen. The artificial lights in the suite gradually dim, synchronized with the natural rhythm of sunset far above. But as the manufactured light fades, the ocean itself begins to glow. Bioluminescent plankton start to activate, creating swirls of blue and green light in the water around you. Fish with naturally glowing scales emerge from deeper waters. Jellyfish drift past like living lanterns, their translucent bodies pulsing with ethereal light. Your butler explains that this is feeding time for many deep-sea creatures, and the suite has been positioned along a natural migration route. Over the next few hours, you'll witness a parade of marine life that most humans never see. Giant manta rays with wingspans wider than cars, schools of fish that move like silver clouds through the water, octopi that seem to dance as they hunt for food. The dinner experience is unlike anything you've ever imagined. Your table is positioned against the largest window, facing out toward the deep ocean. The chef has prepared a 7-course meal inspired by the sea, but not in the way you might expect. These aren't seafood dishes. Instead, each course is designed to evoke the feeling of different ocean environments. The appetizer tastes like sea spray and sunshine. The soup carries the mineral essence of deep underwater caves. The main course somehow captures the feeling of floating weightlessly in warm tropical currents. As you eat, the view outside continues to change. A group of dolphins appears, playing in the artificial currents created by the suite's water circulation system. They seem curious about the structure, swimming close to the windows and almost appearing to make eye contact with you. It's a reminder that you're not just observing the ocean, you're living inside it, temporarily joining a world that existed long before humans and will continue long after we're gone. After dinner, you're invited to experience the suite's most unique feature, the dream pool. It's a small infinity pool that extends partially outside the structure, protected by an invisible barrier that keeps the water in while allowing complete visual access to the ocean. Swimming in this pool is like floating in space, if space were filled with warm, crystalline water and populated by creatures that seem designed by an artist's imagination. The water temperature is perfect, maintained at exactly the same temperature as your body. As you float on your back, looking up through the glass ceiling toward the distant surface, 50 feet above, you can see the moon's light filtering down through the water. It creates patterns on the ocean floor that shift and dance with the movement of the waves above. Schools of small fish occasionally swim through the pool area, their scales catching the filtered moonlight like living confetti. But it's when you finally return to the bedroom that the true magic begins. As you settle into the impossibly comfortable bed, wrapped in sheets that somehow smell like ocean breeze and fresh rain, the underwater world around you transforms into something from a dream. The suite's designers have timed everything perfectly. This is the hour when the deep-sea creatures emerge. A massive whale shark glides past one of the windows, its spotted hide gleaming in the bioluminescent glow. It moves with a grace that seems impossible for something so large, like a living mountain floating through space. Behind it, a school of smaller fish follows, creating patterns of light and shadow that dance across the walls of your underwater bedroom. The temperature in the suite is perfect, maintained by a climate control system that somehow manages to feel natural despite being 50 feet underwater. The air smells clean and fresh, with just a hint of sea salt that reminds you where you are without being overwhelming. The sound system plays what they call Ocean Symphony, a carefully curated collection of actual underwater sounds, whale songs, the clicking of dolphins, the gentle rush of deep currents, the soft percussion of bubbles rising toward the surface. As you lie in bed, watching the underwater world continue its ancient dance around you, you begin to understand why this experience is priced beyond the reach of almost everyone on Earth. It's not just about luxury. It's not just about exclusivity. It's about stepping completely outside the human experience and entering a world that operates by entirely different rules. A world where gravity feels different, where light behaves differently, where time seems to slow down and stretch like taffy. The bed itself seems to respond to the gentle motion of the ocean currents. There's an almost imperceptible swaying, so subtle you're not sure if you're imagining it, but it's there, a gentle rocking that feels like being held by the ocean itself. The pillows are filled with something that feels lighter than air, but more supportive than anything you've ever experienced. The sheets seem to regulate their own temperature, staying cool when you're warm and warming up when you feel chilled. Outside the windows, the underwater landscape continues to reveal its secrets. Coral formations glow with their own inner light. Sea anemones wave in the current like underwater flowers. A group of sea turtles swims past, their ancient eyes seeming to acknowledge your presence before they disappear into the deeper darkness beyond the reach of the suite's lights. The suite's lighting system is programmed to gradually dim over the course of several hours, mimicking the natural transition from twilight to full darkness. But even as the artificial lights fade, the ocean around you doesn't become completely dark. Instead, it reveals its own sources of illumination. Deep-sea creatures with glowing appendages, phosphorescent trails left by swimming animals, the distant glow of underwater volcanic vents that heat the ocean floor miles below. As sleep begins to approach, you realize that you're experiencing something that humans throughout history could only dream about. You're sleeping in the ocean, surrounded by sea life, breathing easily and comfortably, 50 feet beneath the surface. You're witnessing the nighttime behavior of creatures that surface dwellers never see. You're experiencing the ocean not as visitors or observers, but as temporary residents of an underwater world. The last thing you remember before drifting off to sleep is the sight of a massive octopus settling onto the ocean floor directly outside your bedroom window. Its skin changes color slowly, cycling through shades of purple and gold and deep sea blue. Its eyes, intelligent and curious, seem to study the strange glowing structure that has appeared in its territory. For a moment, you make eye contact with this ancient creature, and there's a sense of mutual recognition. Two beings from different worlds, sharing a moment of quiet wonder in the depths of the ocean. And then, surrounded by the gentle sounds of the sea, cradled by the softest bed you've ever experienced, and protected by walls of crystal clear glass, you begin to fall asleep in the most expensive bedroom on Earth. But the real journey is just beginning. Sleep at this depth isn't like sleep on the surface. Your dreams don't follow the usual patterns. Instead, they seem to merge with the rhythm of the ocean itself. You find yourself dreaming in shades of blue and green, in movements that flow like currents, in sounds that echo the songs of whales miles away. It's as if your subconscious mind has synchronized with the ancient pulse of the sea. The suite's designers understood something profound about human psychology and the ocean's influence on our sleep cycles. They've positioned the bed at the exact depth where sunlight can still penetrate during the day, but where the pressure creates a natural cocoon effect. Your body responds to this environment in ways that scientists are still studying. Your breathing becomes deeper, more rhythmic. Your heart rate slows to match the gentle pulse of the water circulation system. Your brain waves shift into patterns that researchers have only recently begun to understand. Throughout the night, the underwater world continues its secret life around you. A family of seahorses drifts past the eastern window, their delicate forms moving in perfect synchronization. Their bodies catch the ambient light from the suite's emergency systems, creating tiny sparkles in the darkness. You don't wake up, but somewhere in your sleeping mind, you register their presence. They become part of your dreams, transforming into mythical creatures that guide you through underwater kingdoms. Around 2 a.m, something extraordinary happens. A pod of dolphins discovers the suite and begins to investigate. They circle the structure with obvious curiosity. Their echolocation clicks, creating a gentle percussion that penetrates the specially designed glass. The sound is soft enough not to wake you, but present enough to influence your dream state. In your sleep, you find yourself swimming alongside them, matching their graceful movements, understanding their complex language of clicks and whistles. The dolphins stay for nearly an hour, playing in the artificial currents created by the suite's life support systems. They seem to understand that there's something different about this structure, something alive and warm in their cold, vast world. One of the younger dolphins approaches the bedroom window directly, pressing its rostrum against the glass. For a moment, separated by just a few inches of reinforced crystal, two very different forms of consciousness share the same space. Your sleep deepens as the night progresses. The bed's advanced support system responds to your body's natural movements, adjusting firmness and temperature throughout the night. When you shift position, the mattress shifts with you. When your body temperature fluctuates, the climate control system makes micro adjustments to maintain perfect comfort. It's like sleeping on a cloud that anticipates your every need. But it's the sounds that make this sleep experience truly unique. The ocean at this depth has its own soundtrack, a symphony that plays continuously but changes subtly throughout the night. There's the deep, resonant groan of shifting tectonic plates miles below, the whispered rush of deep-sea currents carrying nutrients and microscopic life across vast distances, the occasional crack and pop of the suite structure adjusting to water pressure, sounds so soft they're more felt than heard. Around 3 a.m, you enter the deepest phase of sleep. Your brain waves slow to delta frequencies, the same patterns that meditation masters spend decades learning to achieve. But here, 50 feet beneath the surface, surrounded by the infinite patience of the ocean, this state comes naturally. Your body releases stress hormones you didn't even know you were carrying. Muscles that have been tense for months finally relax completely. In this deep sleep state, something remarkable happens to your perception of time. Minutes stretch into hours. Hours compress into moments. You dream of floating through underwater canyons that stretch for thousands of miles. You dream of conversations with ancient sea creatures that speak in colors instead of words. You dream of breathing water as easily as air, of swimming to the deepest parts of the ocean where the pressure creates diamonds from carbon and time. The suite's oxygen system works continuously throughout the night, not just maintaining breathable air, but actually enhancing it. The air you're breathing contains elevated levels of negative ions, the same particles that make ocean air so refreshing. Your body responds by producing increased levels of serotonin, the neurotransmitter associated with happiness and well-being. Even in sleep, you're being gently transformed by the environment. Around 4 a.m, a massive manta ray appears outside the main bedroom window. Its wingspan is enormous, easily 15 feet from tip to tip. It moves with the grace of an underwater ballet dancer, its wing-like fins undulating in slow motion. The ray seems to be attracted to the soft glow emanating from the suite, circling the structure in wide, lazy loops. As you sleep, your subconscious mind registers the ray's presence. In your dreams, it becomes a guide, leading you through underwater cities built by civilizations that never existed. You soar through coral forests taller than redwoods, past mountains of sea sponges that glow with their own inner light. The ray's movements become your movements. Its grace becomes your grace. The water pressure at this depth creates a unique acoustic environment. Sounds travel differently here, with certain frequencies amplified while others are muted. The result is that your sleeping brain receives a constant stream of ultra-low frequency vibrations that promote deeper relaxation. These are the same frequencies used in sound therapy, but here they occur naturally, created by the ocean's own massive movements. Your sleep becomes lucid around 5 in the morning, that magical hour when the deepest part of night begins its slow transformation toward dawn. You become aware that you're dreaming, but instead of waking up, you choose to remain in the dream state. This is sleep at its most profound level, where conscious awareness and unconscious wisdom merge into something greater than either alone. In this lucid dream state, you explore the suite from impossible angles. You swim through the walls as if they were made of water. You expand your consciousness to encompass the entire ocean, feeling the movement of currents from the Arctic to the tropics. You communicate with the marine life around the suite, understanding their thoughts and emotions as clearly as human speech. The suite's advanced monitoring systems track your sleep patterns throughout the night, adjusting everything from air composition to subtle lighting changes to optimize your rest. When your sleep becomes lighter, the systems respond by slightly increasing oxygen levels and adjusting the temperature. When you enter deep sleep phases, they create the most stable, quiet environment possible. Around 6 in the morning, something magical begins to happen far above. The sun starts to rise, and even at 50 feet beneath the surface, its light begins to penetrate the water. The first rays create columns of gold and silver that dance through the ocean like underwater auroras. The suite's smart glass begins to gradually increase its transparency, allowing more of this natural light to filter into your sleeping space. Your body's natural circadian rhythms respond to this subtle increase in light, even though you're still deeply asleep. Your brain begins producing less melatonin and more cortisol, preparing you for a natural awakening. But this process happens so gradually, so gently, that there's no jarring transition from sleep to wakefulness. The marine life around the suite changes with the approaching dawn. Night hunters retreat to deeper waters while day-active species begin to stir. Schools of tropical fish that spent the night in the safety of nearby coral formations venture out into the open water. Their scales catch the early morning light, creating moving patterns of silver and gold that play across the walls of your underwater bedroom. A group of sea turtles passes by the windows, their ancient forms moving with unhurried dignity through the warming water. They're followed by a cleaning crew of small fish that dart between the larger animals, performing their essential service in the ocean's complex ecosystem. You sleep through all of this activity, but your dreaming mind incorporates these movements into elaborate underwater narratives. As 7 o'clock approaches, the suite's wake-up system begins its gentle work. Instead of an alarm clock, you're awakened by the gradual increase of natural light, the soft sounds of classical music mixed with whale songs, and the subtle aroma of fresh ocean air being circulated through the ventilation system. Your body temperature is gradually adjusted to encourage natural awakening. The transition from sleep to consciousness happens so smoothly that you're not sure exactly when you stopped dreaming and started thinking. You become aware of the soft sheets against your skin, the perfect temperature of the air, the gentle movement of the water around your underwater sanctuary. But mostly, you become aware of a profound sense of peace that seems to emanate from every cell in your body. This isn't the grogginess that usually accompanies waking up. This is something entirely different. You feel refreshed in a way that goes beyond physical rest. Your mind feels clear and calm. Your body feels light and energized. It's as if the ocean itself has recharged every aspect of your being while you slept. You open your eyes slowly, and the first thing you see is a school of angelfish swimming past the ceiling window directly above your bed. Their fins catch the morning light streaming down from the surface, creating a living mobile of gold and white that welcomes you back to consciousness. For a moment, you're not sure if you're still dreaming, or if this underwater paradise is really your temporary home. The realization hits you gradually. You've just experienced the most restorative sleep of your life, 50 feet beneath the surface of the ocean, surrounded by marine life that most people only see in documentaries. You've spent the night as a temporary citizen of an underwater world, breathing easily, sleeping comfortably, and dreaming in ways that humans have never dreamed before. As full consciousness returns, you become aware of subtle changes in your body and mind. Your breathing feels deeper and more efficient. Your thoughts seem clearer and more focused. There's a sense of connection to something larger than yourself, as if sleeping in the ocean has reminded you of your place in the vast web of life that covers most of our planet. The suite's morning routine begins automatically as sensors detect your awakening. Soft lighting gradually increases to comfortable levels. The temperature adjusts to encourage alertness while maintaining comfort. Fresh coffee begins brewing in the dining area, its aroma somehow perfectly complemented by the salt-tinged air of your underwater environment. But before you get up, before you begin the process of returning to the surface world, you lie still for a few more minutes, watching the underwater morning unfold around you. Fish swim past in unhurried schools. Rays of sunlight create shifting patterns on the ocean floor, visible through the lower windows. The eternal rhythm of the sea continues its ancient dance, and for these precious moments, you're still part of it. This is what $50 million buys you. Not just a night's accommodation, but a complete transformation of consciousness. Not just luxury, but transcendence. Not just a unique experience, but a glimpse into a way of being that most humans never imagined possible. You've slept in the ocean's embrace and awakened as someone slightly different than the person who descended in the elevator yesterday evening. The morning light filtering down from 50 feet above creates an almost cathedral-like atmosphere in your underwater bedroom. Each beam of sunlight carries with it tiny particles and microscopic sea life, creating columns of living light that shift and dance with the ocean's natural rhythm. You stretch languidly beneath sheets that feel like they were woven from morning mist, and every muscle in your body responds with a flexibility and ease you haven't felt in years. Your personal butler appears silently at the bedroom entrance, moving with the practiced grace of someone who has mastered the art of underwater hospitality. He carries a silver tray with your morning beverage, a specially crafted blend that combines the antioxidant properties of deep-sea algae with flavors that somehow capture the essence of ocean sunrise. The drink is served in a glass that seems to change color as you hold it, shifting from deep blue to golden amber as it warms to your touch. As you sip this extraordinary morning elixir, you notice that your perception of taste has changed overnight. Every flavor seems more vivid, more complex. The drink carries notes of mineral-rich spring water, tropical fruits that don't exist on land, and something indefinable that tastes like pure energy. Your body absorbs it eagerly, as if recognizing nutrients it's been craving without knowing it. The view from your bed reveals the ocean's morning transformation. Night-dwelling creatures are retreating to deeper waters, their bioluminescent displays fading as natural sunlight takes over illumination duties. In their place come the day shift, vibrant coral fish in impossible colors, sea anemones that bloom like underwater flowers, and graceful rays that glide past with the dignity of underwater royalty. Your butler explains the morning routine options available in your underwater sanctuary. There's the sunrise observation deck, a small platform that extends slightly outside the main structure, where you can experience the ocean's awakening while remaining completely safe and dry. There's the morning meditation chamber, where specially designed acoustics amplify the ocean's natural sounds to create the perfect environment for contemplation. Or you can simply remain in bed, watching the underwater world wake up around you. You choose to experience the sunrise observation deck, and your butler leads you through corridors lined with windows that offer different perspectives of the ocean environment. Each window frames a different scene. Here, a garden of sea fans swaying in the current like underwater palm trees. There, a cleaning station where larger fish wait patiently while smaller species remove parasites and dead skin. Beyond, a sandy area where rays bury themselves in the sediment, only their eyes visible above the ocean floor. The observation deck is a marvel of engineering disguised as pure magic. You step onto what feels like a solid glass platform, but you're actually standing inside a transparent tube that extends 20 feet beyond the main structure. Above, below, and on all sides, you're surrounded by open ocean. It's like standing inside a soap bubble in the middle of the sea, except the bubble is made of crystal and engineered to withstand pressures that would crush a normal submarine. Here, 50 feet beneath the surface, you watch the sun rise. But this isn't a sunrise as surface dwellers know it. Instead of watching the sun break the horizon, you observe its light gradually penetrate deeper and deeper into the water around you. First comes a faint glow far above, barely distinguishable from the last traces of night. Then, slowly, shafts of golden light begin to slice through the water, creating a light show that no surface sunrise could match. The marine life responds to this daily miracle with behaviors you've never witnessed. Schools of fish that spent the night scattered in the safety of coral formations begin to organize into their daytime configurations. Predators and prey establish the complex dance that will govern their interactions throughout the day. Cleaning stations become active as fish line up for their daily grooming services. A massive grouper, easily 6 feet long and weighing several hundred pounds, approaches the observation deck with obvious curiosity. Its ancient eyes study you through the glass, and you realize you're looking at a creature that might be older than you are. Groupers can live for decades, and this one has the bearing of an elder statesman of the reef. It hovers motionlessly for several minutes, as if assessing this strange new addition to its territory, before swimming away with the unhurried confidence of an apex predator. Your breakfast arrives via one of the suite's most ingenious features, an underwater delivery system that transports meals from the surface kitchen through pressurized tubes. The meal itself is a masterpiece that somehow captures the essence of both ocean and sunrise. Each dish is designed to complement your transformed senses, featuring flavors that seem impossible but taste completely natural in this underwater environment. The first course tastes like what you imagine pearls would taste like if they were edible, smooth, lustrous, with a mineral complexity that speaks of deep ocean mysteries. The second course captures the feeling of warm currents carrying nutrients across vast distances, rich and satisfying in ways that bypass your normal understanding of flavor. The final course is pure magic. It tastes like sunlight filtering through water, bright and energizing and somehow familiar, despite being unlike anything you've ever experienced. As you eat, the ocean continues its morning performance. A school of barracuda passes by in perfect formation, their silver bodies creating a living mirror that reflects the filtered sunlight in dazzling patterns. Behind them comes a lone shark, not menacing but majestic, moving through the water with the fluid grace that only millions of years of evolution can perfect. It pays no attention to the glowing structure in its path, simply incorporating your presence into its mental map of the territory. The breakfast table is positioned to take advantage of the most spectacular morning view, a coral formation that rises from the ocean floor like an underwater mountain. As the sunlight strengthens, the coral reveals colors that don't exist in the surface world. Purples that seem to glow from within, blues that make the sky seem pale by comparison, greens that pulse with their own inner rhythm. Living among these corals are fish so brilliantly colored, they look like swimming jewels. Your butler returns with the morning's entertainment options, and you realize that entertainment in an underwater suite means something completely different from surface world diversions. There's the fish communication experience, where marine biologists have developed technology that translates the electromagnetic signals of certain fish species into patterns you can understand. There's the current meditation, where you can experience the sensation of floating in the ocean's natural currents while remaining safely inside the suite. There's even the deep ocean symphony, where hydrophones positioned throughout the surrounding area pick up the songs of whales miles away and play them through the suite's advanced sound system. You choose the fish communication experience, and within minutes, you're connected to devices that make the invisible visible and the silent audible. Suddenly, the ocean around you becomes a bustling communication network. Fish are constantly sending signals to each other, warnings about predators, announcements about food sources, complex social interactions that rival human conversation in their sophistication. The technology translates these signals into gentle vibrations and soft tones that you can feel and hear. A group of parrotfish working to maintain the coral reef becomes a percussion ensemble, their constant scraping and crunching creating rhythm patterns that speak of dedication and community purpose. A pair of angelfish courting near a sea fan becomes a duet of gentle harmonies, their electromagnetic fields creating music that speaks of attraction and compatibility. Even the coral itself contributes to this underwater symphony, its living processes creating bass notes so low they're felt more than heard. The experience transforms your understanding of the ocean from a beautiful but alien environment to a living community where every creature has a voice and a purpose. You begin to recognize individual fish by their signal patterns. The large grouper that examined you earlier has a deep, resonant signature that speaks of wisdom and authority. A family of clownfish living in a nearby anemone creates playful, chattering signals that clearly indicate their strong social bonds. As the morning progresses, you're invited to experience the suite's exercise pool, a facility that defies every expectation of what underwater fitness might involve. The pool is designed to take advantage of the natural resistance of water while providing the support that only an aquatic environment can offer. Swimming in this pool feels like flying through liquid space, with resistance that strengthens every muscle, while buoyancy that protects every joint. The pool's transparent walls offer unobstructed views of the surrounding ocean, so your morning workout becomes a synchronized swimming experience with the local marine life. Dolphins occasionally pass by, and their curiosity about your underwater activities leads to impromptu swimming lessons where you try to match their fluid grace. Sea turtles become meditation partners, their ancient wisdom and unhurried movements teaching you about patience and persistence. The water in the exercise pool is maintained at the perfect temperature and mineral composition, enriched with trace elements from deep ocean sources that promote muscle recovery and skin health. After just 20 minutes of swimming, your body feels energized and refreshed in ways that no surface pool could provide. Your skin glows with a vitality that comes from mineral absorption, and your muscles feel both worked and relaxed. Following your underwater workout, you're offered the suite's signature spa experience, the pressure point massage. This treatment takes advantage of the natural water pressure at 50 feet depth to provide therapeutic benefits impossible to achieve on the surface. The massage therapist, who somehow manages to work in this underwater environment with the skill of a surface professional, uses techniques that incorporate the ocean's natural rhythms. The massage table is positioned against the suite's largest window, facing out toward an underwater valley where currents create natural massage-like movements in the seagrass and soft corals. As skilled hands work to release tension from muscles you didn't know were tight, you watch sea creatures demonstrate their own forms of relaxation and self-care. Fish visit cleaning stations where other species provide grooming services. Rays bury themselves in sand for what appears to be pure comfort, and sea turtles float motionlessly in the current, completely surrendered to the ocean's support. The oils used in your massage are derived from deep sea plants and contain minerals that can only be found at oceanic depths. They absorb into your skin with unusual ease, leaving you feeling not just relaxed, but somehow more connected to the marine environment surrounding you. Your circulation improves dramatically, your breathing becomes deeper and more efficient, and a sense of profound well-being settles into every cell of your body. As the massage concludes, you realize that your relationship with your physical body has changed during your time in this underwater sanctuary. Away from gravity's full pull, supported by the ocean's embrace, your body has remembered what it feels like to exist, without the constant stress of fighting against the downward pull of the earth. Your spine has naturally lengthened, your shoulders have released tension you've carried for years, and your breathing has found a rhythm that matches the slow pulse of deep ocean currents. The afternoon brings new wonders as the underwater world shifts into its midday configuration. The angle of sunlight changes, creating different patterns of illumination throughout the suite. Some areas that were shadowed in the morning now glow with golden light, while others become mysterious grottos, where bioluminescent creatures begin to stir even in daylight. Your lunch is served in the suite's rotating dining room, a circular chamber that slowly revolves to provide constantly changing views of the surrounding ocean. The meal itself continues the morning's theme of impossible flavors made manifest. Each course seems designed to enhance your connection to the marine environment while providing nutrition that your body craves but has never experienced. The first course captures the essence of tidal pools, those magical spaces where ocean meets shore. It tastes of sea spray and sunshine, of creatures that thrive in the space between two worlds. The second course evokes the open ocean, vast and powerful, with flavors that speak of great depths and endless horizons. The final course brings you back to the reef, complex and interconnected, with tastes that remind you of the intricate web of relationships that sustain underwater communities. As you dine, a parade of marine life provides entertainment that no surface restaurant could match. A school of reef sharks passes by, their streamlined forms cutting through the water with predatory grace, but showing no interest in the glowing structure that houses you. A giant Pacific octopus emerges from a crevice in the nearby rocks, its intelligence evident in the way it examines the suite before retreating to its hidden lair. The afternoon's planned activity is something called the deep ocean meditation experience. You're led to a chamber at the very center of the suite, a spherical room with windows in every direction, including the floor and ceiling. Here you're completely surrounded by ocean, suspended in three-dimensional aquatic space like an astronaut floating in liquid cosmos. The meditation guide, speaking through wireless headphones that somehow work perfectly at this depth, leads you through breathing exercises that synchronize your internal rhythms with the ocean's natural patterns. You learn to breathe like the sea itself breathes, in long, slow cycles that mirror the movement of tides and currents. Your heartbeat gradually aligns with the pulse of the water circulation system, creating a sense of harmony that extends beyond your physical body into the marine environment surrounding you. As the meditation deepens, something extraordinary happens to your perception of boundaries. The glass walls of the chamber seem to dissolve, and you experience a profound sense of unity with the ocean itself. You become aware of the massive circulation patterns that carry nutrients and life across the planet's seas. You feel the gravitational pull of the moon affecting tides thousands of miles away. You sense the electromagnetic signatures of marine creatures as they navigate through underwater highways that crisscross the globe. This isn't hallucination or wishful thinking. The combination of pressure, mineral-rich air, and the unique acoustic environment of the underwater suite has created conditions that promote expanded states of consciousness. Researchers studying the effects of underwater meditation have documented measurable changes in brainwave patterns, increased production of beneficial neurotransmitters, and enhanced connectivity between different regions of the brain. When the meditation session ends, you feel fundamentally different. Not just relaxed or refreshed, but expanded. Your awareness seems to encompass a larger space than just your physical body. Colors appear more vivid, sounds more nuanced, and your emotional state has achieved a stability and peace that you've never experienced. It's as if the ocean has shared some of its ancient wisdom, teaching you about patience, persistence, and the power of flowing around obstacles rather than fighting against them. The late afternoon brings one of the suite's most spectacular daily events, the feeding of the giants. As the sun begins its descent toward the horizon far above, the suite's marine biologists release a carefully prepared mixture of nutrients into the surrounding water. This isn't random feeding, but a scientifically designed supplement that supports the health of the local ecosystem, while attracting some of the ocean's most magnificent creatures. Within minutes of the feeding release, the water around the suite begins to shimmer with activity. Schools of smaller fish arrive first, their silver bodies creating living clouds that pulse and flow with collective intelligence. Behind them come the larger predators, rays with wingspans that dwarf cars, sharks whose size and grace command respect rather than fear, and fish species so exotic they seem designed by alien artists. But the true giants are yet to come. A pod of pilot whales appears at the edge of visibility, their dark forms moving through the water with the unhurried confidence of creatures that have no natural enemies. They approach the suite with obvious curiosity, their sonar clicks creating gentle percussion that reverberates through the structure's walls. For nearly an hour, these magnificent marine mammals investigate your underwater home, their intelligent eyes studying the strange glowing intrusion in their domain. The whale's presence transforms the entire underwater environment. Smaller creatures seem to recognize the safety provided by these gentle giants, gathering in unprecedented numbers around the suite. The water becomes a three-dimensional aquarium filled with life forms in every conceivable shape, size, and color. It's like being inside the world's greatest nature documentary, except you're not watching through a screen, but living inside the action itself. As evening approaches, you're invited to participate in the suite's most exclusive experience, the bioluminescence symphony. As darkness falls in the world above, the ocean around you begins to glow with natural light, created by countless microscopic organisms. The suite's lighting system gradually dims to complete darkness, allowing the marine light show to take center stage. What happens next defies description. The water around you transforms into a living galaxy, with points of blue and green light pulsing and flowing in patterns that seem both random and perfectly choreographed. Fish, swimming through this bioluminescent soup, leave trails of light behind them like underwater comets. Every movement in the water creates cascades of glowing particles that spiral and dance before fading back into darkness. The suite's advanced sound system captures and amplifies the subtle acoustic signatures of this bioluminescent activity, creating music that seems to emerge from light itself. Each pulse of bioluminescence generates corresponding tones and harmonies, turning the ocean around you into a massive instrument played by the movements of countless tiny organisms. You find yourself at the center of a concert where light and sound merge into something that transcends both. This natural phenomenon continues for hours, with waves of bioluminescence flowing past the suite like underwater aurora borealis. Sometimes the entire ocean around you glows with soft blue light. Other times, the illumination comes in distinct patches and streams, creating patterns that shift and evolve with hypnotic beauty. You realize you're witnessing one of nature's most spectacular displays from the best seat in any house, 50 feet beneath the surface in a crystal palace designed to showcase the ocean's hidden wonders. As the bioluminescent display reaches its peak intensity, you understand that this experience represents something far more valuable than the $50 million price tag might suggest. You're not just observing nature's light show, you're participating in it, temporarily joining the vast community of marine life that calls this underwater realm home. Your presence here isn't intrusion, but invitation, a chance to witness the ocean's secrets from the inside rather than glimpsing them from above. The evening's final experience takes place in the suite's observatory dome, the highest point of the underwater structure. Here, a powerful telescope system allows you to observe the surface world from below, watching boats pass overhead like shadows against the ceiling of your aquatic universe. Stars become visible through the water, their light refracted and softened by the liquid medium, creating patterns that no surface astronomer has ever seen. But the real magic happens when you turn the telescope downward into the abyss below. The suite's powerful lights can penetrate several hundred feet into the depths, revealing glimpses of the deep ocean that few humans have ever witnessed. Strange creatures drift past like visitors from alien worlds. Jellyfish with transparent bells the size of umbrellas, deep-sea fish with bioluminescent lures dangling like fishing lines, and occasionally, the massive shadow of something too large and distant to identify clearly. As you prepare for your second night in this underwater paradise, you realize that your first day has fundamentally changed your relationship with the ocean, with luxury, and with the possibilities of human experience. You've breathed underwater without scuba gear, dined surrounded by marine life, exercised in liquid space, and witnessed natural phenomena that most people only see in documentaries. But more than that, you've discovered a way of being that exists nowhere else on Earth. The suite's evening routine begins as sensors detect the approaching night. Temperature adjusts to optimal sleeping conditions, lighting gradually dims to encourage natural circadian rhythms, and the sound system begins playing the evening selection of whale songs and deep-sea ambience. Your bed, somehow even more comfortable than the night before, beckons with sheets that seem to have absorbed the ocean's own sense of timeless peace. But before you surrender to sleep, you spend a few final moments in the observation lounge, watching the underwater world transition from day to night. This is when the ocean reveals its most magical secrets, as creatures of the deep begin their nightly migration toward the surface, passing by your windows like participants in an ancient ritual that predates human civilization by millions of years. Tomorrow will bring new wonders, new experiences that push the boundaries of what luxury and adventure can mean when combined with the infinite mystery of the sea. But tonight, as you settle into sleep 50 feet beneath the surface, surrounded by the gentle sounds and movements of the ocean, you carry with you the profound satisfaction of having lived, even briefly, as a citizen of an underwater world that few humans will ever know exists. As you drift into your second night of underwater slumber, something profound begins to happen to your consciousness. The ocean's rhythm has synchronized with your own biological clock, and sleep comes not as an escape from the day, but as a gentle transition into deeper communion with the marine world around you. Your breathing naturally slows to match the pulse of the water circulation system, and your heartbeat finds harmony with the distant songs of whales navigating the midnight depths. The bedroom transforms as darkness settles over the surface world 50 feet above. Bioluminescent creatures begin their nightly dance, turning the water around your bed into a living constellation. Tiny organisms pulse with ethereal blue light, creating patterns that shift and flow like liquid starlight. Your eyes grow heavy watching this natural light show, and as sleep approaches, the boundaries between your dreams and the ocean's reality begin to blur in the most beautiful way imaginable. Tonight's sleep is different from your first night. Your body has adapted to the unique environment, and your dreams take on qualities that seem impossible, yet feel completely natural. You find yourself swimming through underwater cities built from coral and light, breathing liquid moonbeams as easily as air. In these dreams, you communicate with ancient sea turtles who share stories of ocean currents that have carried them across the world's seas for decades. The sweet sleep optimization system has learned your body's rhythms from the previous night and makes subtle adjustments throughout your slumber. When you enter deep sleep phases, the water temperature around the structure is minutely adjusted to promote maximum restoration. When you shift into lighter sleep periods, the mineral composition of the air is enhanced to support dream recall and cognitive processing. Around midnight, a family of dolphins discovers your underwater sanctuary and begins what can only be described as a midnight serenade. Their clicks and whistles create a gentle percussion that penetrates the specially designed glass walls, not enough to wake you, but sufficient to influence your dream state. In your sleeping mind, you join their pod, learning their language of joy and play, understanding their complex social bonds through direct experience rather than observation. Your second night's dreams are filled with impossible colors that exist only in the deepest parts of the ocean, where pressure and darkness create conditions for life forms that seem designed by pure imagination. You dream of gardens of sea anemones that bloom and close with tidal rhythms, their petals made of living light. You dream of coral cities where fish swim through structures that pulse with their own heartbeat, creating neighborhoods of living architecture. The bed itself seems to have learned your body's preferences, adjusting its support and temperature throughout the night in response to your movements and sleep stages. When you unconsciously shift position, the mattress flows like liquid to accommodate you. When your body temperature fluctuates during different sleep phases, the climate control system responds with micro adjustments that maintain perfect comfort without ever waking you. As the deepest part of night approaches, something extraordinary occurs in the waters around your suite. The midnight feeding begins, not a scheduled event, but a natural phenomenon that happens when deep-sea creatures rise toward the surface under cover of darkness. Your sleeping mind registers the increased activity outside your windows, incorporating the movements of rising squid and hunting sharks into dreams of underwater flight. A massive whale shark, the ocean's gentle giant, glides past your bedroom window around 2 a.m. Its spotted hide gleams in the suite's soft emergency lighting, and its presence seems to calm all the smaller creatures in the surrounding water. Even in sleep, you sense this magnificent creature's passage, and your dreams fill with feelings of ancient wisdom and peaceful strength. The water pressure at this depth creates unique acoustic conditions that promote incredibly restorative sleep. Sound waves travel differently here, with certain healing frequencies naturally amplified while harsh or jarring tones are filtered out by the ocean itself. Your brain receives a constant bath of therapeutic vibrations that promote cellular repair and mental clarity. Sleep researchers studying the effects of underwater rest have found that participants show dramatically improved cognitive function and emotional stability after just one night at oceanic depth. Around 3 a.m, your sleep reaches its most profound levels. Brain scans of guests sleeping in underwater suites show delta wave patterns that are typically associated with the deepest meditation states achieved by monks and spiritual masters. The combination of pressure, mineral-rich air, and the ocean's natural electromagnetic field creates conditions that allow consciousness to expand beyond normal boundaries, while the body experiences complete physical restoration. In this state of ultimate rest, your dreams become prophetic and healing. You dream of swimming through schools of fish that part before you like living curtains, each species revealing different aspects of grace and adaptation. You dream of coral reefs that sing in harmonies so complex They seem to contain the musical secrets of the universe. You dream of floating in warm currents that carry you to places where time moves differently, where moments stretch into hours of pure peace. The suite's advanced monitoring systems track not just your vital signs, but also the subtle energy fields that surround your body during sleep. At this depth, surrounded by the ocean's natural electrical activity, human biorhythms synchronize with the planet's own magnetic field in ways that promote healing and regeneration. Guests often report that old injuries feel better after sleeping underwater, that chronic pain diminishes, and that their overall energy levels increase dramatically. Your second night's sleep is also enriched by the presence of marine life that seems drawn to the suite's gentle illumination. A school of luminescent jellyfish drifts past your windows like living lanterns, their translucent bodies pulsing with soft pink and blue light. Their movements are so graceful and hypnotic that they seem to be performing a lullaby made of light and motion, specifically designed to deepen your rest. The ocean's nighttime soundscape provides a natural symphony that promotes deep relaxation. The distant calls of whales create bass notes so low they're felt more than heard, while the gentle rush of currents provides constant, soothing white noise. Occasionally, the clicking of dolphin echolocation adds gentle percussion to this underwater orchestra, creating rhythms that naturally synchronize with human sleep cycles. Around 4 in the morning, a remarkable phenomenon occurs. The suite's position along a natural migration route means that different species pass by throughout the night, creating a constantly changing panorama of marine life. A group of manta rays glides past with wingspans that seem to embrace your entire underwater bedroom. Their movements are so fluid and peaceful that they seem to be blessing your sleep with their ancient grace. Your body's response to this unique sleep environment is nothing short of miraculous. The increased oxygen content in the water around the suite means that even while sleeping, you're breathing air that's richer and more energizing than surface atmosphere. The mineral content of this processed ocean air includes trace elements that promote cellular regeneration and mental clarity. Many guests report that they need less sleep underwater, but feel more rested than they have in years. The suite's temperature regulation system works in harmony with your body's natural circadian rhythms, gradually cooling as you enter deep sleep phases and slowly warming as morning approaches. This mimics the natural temperature variations that promote optimal sleep cycles, but with a precision that only advanced technology can provide. The result is sleep that feels completely natural while being perfectly optimized for restoration and healing. As dawn approaches in the world above, your underwater bedroom begins its gradual transition toward morning. The process is so subtle that it doesn't disturb your sleep, but rather guides you naturally toward waking. The suite's smart glass slowly increases its transparency, allowing the first rays of filtered sunlight to create gentle patterns on the walls around you. Marine life begins to stir as day-active species emerge from their nighttime hiding places. Your final hours of sleep are filled with dreams of transformation and renewal. You dream of emerging from the ocean with gills that allow you to breathe both air and water, of skin that can absorb nutrients directly from seawater, of eyes that can see in the deepest ocean depths. These dreams aren't fantasies, but symbolic representations of the real changes occurring in your body and consciousness during your underwater stay. The morning's first light filtering down from the surface creates a cathedral effect in your underwater bedroom. Columns of golden illumination slice through the water, carrying with them tiny particles of marine life that sparkle like living confetti. Schools of small fish swim through these light beams, their scales creating prisms that scatter rainbow patterns across the suite's walls. It's like waking up inside a living kaleidoscope powered by sunlight and sea life. Your second awakening in this underwater paradise is even more profound than the first. Your body feels lighter, more flexible, more alive than you can remember. Your mind is crystal clear, filled with insights and perspectives that seem to have emerged from the ocean depths themselves. There's a sense of connection to something vast and ancient, as if sleeping in the sea's embrace has awakened genetic memories of humanity's aquatic origins. The suite's morning routine begins with the gentle circulation of energized air that carries the essence of ocean spray and deep-sea minerals. Your breathing naturally becomes deeper and more efficient as your lungs process this enriched atmosphere. The sensation is like drinking liquid energy, if such a thing were possible. Every cell in your body seems to vibrate with renewed vitality. Your breakfast on the second morning is even more extraordinary than the first, as if the chefs have learned to read your transformed taste preferences. Each dish seems designed to complement the changes occurring in your body chemistry. Flavors that would have seemed strange yesterday now taste perfectly natural, as if your palate has adapted to appreciate the subtle complexities of ocean-inspired cuisine. The meal includes elements that taste like liquid sunshine filtered through seawater, giving you energy that feels both grounding and elevating. There are textures that remind you of swimming through warm currents, smooth and flowing and infinitely comforting. The final course carries flavors that evoke the feeling of floating weightlessly in perfect blue space, suspended between sky and sea with no up or down, just endless peace. As you dine, the underwater world continues its morning awakening around you. A cleaning station operated by small wrasse fish becomes active just outside your dining room window, with larger fish queuing patiently for their grooming services. The cooperative behavior and obvious intelligence displayed by these marine creatures reinforces your growing sense of connection to the ocean's complex social networks. The morning's planned activity is something called the depth meditation experience, where you're guided to a chamber that can be pressurized to simulate even greater depths. Here, surrounded by specially designed windows that magnify and clarify the view of the deep ocean below, you experience meditation in conditions that few humans have ever encountered. The increased pressure creates a cocoon effect that naturally deepens meditative states, while the view of the abyss below induces profound contemplation of infinity and mystery. During this deep meditation, your consciousness expands to encompass not just the immediate ocean environment, but the entire global network of seas and currents. You become aware of the great circulation patterns that connect all the world's oceans, carrying nutrients and life across vast distances. You sense the rhythmic breathing of the planet itself as tides rise and fall in response to celestial mechanics that dwarf human concerns. The meditation guide's voice seems to come from the ocean itself, speaking in rhythms that match the pulse of deep currents. The instructions are simple, but profound. Breathe like the sea breathes, think like the ocean thinks, exist like the water exists. Under these conditions, achieving states of consciousness normally reserved for advanced spiritual practitioners becomes as natural as floating. When the meditation session concludes, you realize that something fundamental has shifted in your perception of reality. The boundaries between yourself and the marine environment have become more fluid. You feel as comfortable in this underwater realm as you do on dry land, perhaps more so. The ocean no longer seems alien or threatening, but welcoming, like coming home to a place you never knew you'd been missing. The afternoon brings an experience that epitomizes the suite's ability to blend luxury with natural wonder. You're invited to participate in the Marine Life Integration Program, where advanced technology allows you to temporarily join the sensory networks of various sea creatures. Through sophisticated biomonitoring equipment, you can experience echolocation like a dolphin, electrical sensing like a shark, or pressure sensitivity like a deep-sea fish. The dolphin echolocation experience is particularly remarkable. Suddenly, you can see, through sound, building three-dimensional images of the surrounding ocean through reflected acoustic waves. The water around the suite reveals hidden details, the texture of the seafloor, the internal structure of nearby coral formations, the presence of fish hiding in crevices you couldn't visually detect. It's like gaining a superpower that reveals a completely different version of the underwater world. The shark electrical sensing simulation allows you to perceive the bioelectrical fields generated by all living creatures in the surrounding water. Every fish, every invertebrate, even the plants generate distinctive electrical signatures that paint a dynamic picture of life energy flowing through the marine ecosystem. You realize that the ocean is not just full of life, but is actually a living entity itself, with currents of biological electricity connecting every organism in a vast neural network. Your final afternoon in the underwater suite includes an experience called the Memory Palace Creation Session. Using the unique neurological states induced by underwater living, you're guided through exercises that dramatically enhance memory formation and recall. The combination of enriched oxygen, mineral-rich air, and the ocean's natural electromagnetic field creates optimal conditions for encoding lasting memories of your experience. During this session, you realize that you're not just remembering your time in the underwater suite, but actually integrating it into your fundamental understanding of what's possible in human experience. These memories won't fade like ordinary vacation recollections, but will remain vivid and accessible, continuing to influence your consciousness long after you return to the surface world. The process involves revisiting each moment of your underwater stay with enhanced awareness, feeling again the textures of the mineral-enriched air, seeing again the impossible colors of deep-sea bioluminescence, hearing again the complex symphonies created by marine life communication. But now you're also encoding the emotional and spiritual dimensions of the experience, creating memory palaces that preserve not just what happened, but how it felt to temporarily become a citizen of the underwater world. As your second full day in the suite draws to a close, you're struck by how completely your perception of luxury has been transformed. When you first arrived, you expected opulent surroundings and exceptional service, which you certainly received. But what you discovered was something far more valuable, a way of being that exists nowhere else on Earth, a form of consciousness that emerges only when human awareness is cradled by the ocean's ancient rhythms. The evening's final experience takes place in the suite's contemplation sphere, a completely transparent chamber that can be positioned at different points around the structure. Tonight, it's moved to face the deep ocean trench that drops away into abyssal depths. Here, suspended in crystal clarity 50 feet beneath the surface, you watch as the day's last light fades from the water around you and the ocean's own sources of illumination begin to take over. The transition from day to night in the deep ocean is unlike anything that happens on land. Instead of darkness simply falling, the water fills with living light as bioluminescent creatures begin their nightly activities. The effect is like watching the universe turn itself inside out, with stars appearing in the liquid space around you rather than in the sky above. Points of blue and green light pulse and flow in patterns that seem both random and perfectly choreographed. As full darkness settles over the surface world far above, the ocean around your suite transforms into something that exists beyond the normal categories of beautiful or magical. This is primal wonder, the kind of awe that shaped human consciousness when our ancestors first gazed into night skies or deep waters and realized they were part of something infinitely larger than themselves. Your final night in the underwater suite approaches with a mixture of anticipation and gentle melancholy. You know that tomorrow will bring the inevitable return to the surface world, to gravity and noise, and the countless distractions of terrestrial life. But you also know that you carry within you now a piece of the ocean's timeless peace, a memory of what it feels like to sleep in the sea's embrace and wake transformed by its ancient wisdom. As you prepare for sleep, surrounded by the gentle sounds and movements of the underwater world, you understand that this experience has given you something far more valuable than luxury accommodation. You've been temporarily adopted by the ocean itself, welcomed into a realm that few humans ever glimpse, and granted insights into forms of consciousness that exist beyond the boundaries of normal human experience. The bed beckons with sheets that now feel like extensions of your own skin, perfectly attuned to your body's needs and rhythms. The water around the suite pulses with bioluminescent activity, creating a natural nightlight that shifts and flows with hypnotic beauty. Marine life continues its eternal dance outside your windows, and you settle into sleep knowing that you'll dream tonight, not as a visitor to the underwater world, but as someone who has temporarily become part of its endless, peaceful rhythm. Your final sleep in this $50 million underwater sanctuary promises to be the most restorative yet, as your body and mind have now fully adapted to this unique environment. Tomorrow will bring new wonders as you prepare to ascend back to the surface. But tonight belongs to the deep ocean dreams that only come to those who have surrendered completely to the sea's transformative embrace. Tonight, your third and final sleep in this underwater paradise carries with it a bittersweet quality, like the last movement of a symphony that you never want to end. Your body has become so perfectly attuned to this marine environment that the bed seems to mold itself around you without any conscious adjustment. The sheets feel like liquid silk that has learned the exact temperature and texture your skin craves. Every breath draws in air that tastes faintly of ocean minerals and deep-sea tranquility. The bioluminescent display outside your windows has reached peak intensity tonight, as if the ocean itself knows this is your farewell performance. Cascades of blue-green light flow past like underwater waterfalls made of pure luminescence. Schools of lanternfish create moving constellations that pulse and shift with their own mysterious rhythms. A massive jellyfish drifts by, its translucent bell the size of a small car, trailing tentacles that glow like fiber optic cables, carrying messages between distant underwater cities. Your final dream state is unlike anything you've experienced in your previous nights here. It's as if your consciousness has learned to speak the ocean's language fluently, and now the sea is sharing its deepest secrets with you. You dream of swimming through underwater libraries where knowledge is stored in coral formations, each polyp containing millennia of oceanic wisdom. You dream of conversations with ancient whales who carry in their songs the history of every current and tide that has ever flowed across the planet. In these dreams, you don't just observe the underwater world, you become it. Your awareness expands to encompass vast networks of marine communication, feeling the electromagnetic pulses that connect creatures across thousands of miles of open ocean. You experience the slow, patient growth of coral reefs, each tiny animal contributing to structures that will outlast human civilizations. You feel the migration instincts that guide sea turtles across entire ocean basins, following magnetic highways that have existed since before continents took their current shape. The suite's environmental systems have reached perfect synchronization with your biological rhythms. The water circulation creates gentle currents that massage the structure with barely perceptible movements, rocking you in the ocean's embrace like a child being soothed to sleep by loving hands. The temperature regulation responds to your body's needs with such precision that you feel neither warm nor cool, but perfectly balanced, as if you've achieved thermal harmony with the sea itself. Around midnight, something extraordinary happens that feels like a farewell gift from the ocean. A pod of humpback whales passes through the area, their massive forms moving with grace that defies their size. But these aren't just any whales, they're singing. Their complex melodies penetrate the suite's walls as deep, resonant harmonies that you feel in your bones as much as hear with your ears. The songs are hauntingly beautiful, filled with emotional depth that transcends species barriers. The whale songs weave themselves into your dreams, becoming the soundtrack for visions of underwater cities where spires of living coral reach toward filtered sunlight. You dream of gardens where sea anemones bloom in time-lapse sequences that span decades, their colors shifting through spectrums that don't exist in the surface world. The whale's melodies carry you through these dreamscapes like a gentle current, supporting and guiding your consciousness through realms of pure aquatic imagination. Your sleep reaches depths of restoration that seem to healing not just your body, but your very soul. The mineral-rich air you're breathing contains trace elements that promote cellular regeneration at the molecular level. Your skin absorbs beneficial compounds through the humidity, leaving you feeling like you're being gradually transformed into a more vibrant version of yourself. Muscles that you didn't even know were tense finally release completely, allowing your spine to find alignments that feel more natural than any position you've ever maintained on land. The ocean's natural electromagnetic field interacts with your nervous system in ways that promote profound mental clarity. Your brain produces alpha waves with an intensity typically seen only in experienced meditation masters, while simultaneously generating delta waves that facilitate deep physical healing. Sleep researchers would be amazed by the brain scans of someone resting at this depth, surrounded by the sea's natural energy fields. As the deepest part of the night approaches, your dreams take on a prophetic quality. You see yourself returning to the surface world, but changed in fundamental ways. Colors seem more vivid, sounds more nuanced, and your emotional responses more balanced and centered. You dream of carrying the ocean's peace with you into everyday situations, remaining calm and fluid like water flowing around obstacles, rather than fighting against them. The marine life surrounding your suite seems to sense that this is your final night. A parade of creatures passes by your windows as if bidding farewell. Graceful rays that seem to dance through the water, schools of tropical fish that create living rainbows, and the occasional shark whose presence brings not fear, but a sense of respect for the ocean's perfect balance of power and grace. Even the coral formations seem more vibrant tonight, their polyps extended and feeding in the gentle currents, creating a garden of living color that pulses with its own inner light. Your body's adaptation to this underwater environment has reached its peak. You're breathing with the efficiency of a free diver, your circulation optimized for the unique pressures and atmospheric conditions. Your heart rate has settled into rhythms that match the ocean's own pulse, creating a sense of unity between your internal systems and the vast marine environment surrounding you. It's as if you've temporarily evolved into an amphibious being equally comfortable in air or water. The suite's advanced sleep monitoring systems record patterns that will be studied by researchers for years to come. Your REM cycles have become perfectly regular, your deep sleep phases extraordinarily restorative, and your overall sleep architecture optimized in ways that seem almost impossible under normal circumstances. The ocean has taught your body how to rest with a completeness that most people never experience in a lifetime of surface sleeping. Around 3 a.m, a family of dolphins discovers your suite and begins what can only be described as a farewell serenade. Their clicks and whistles create complex acoustic patterns that penetrate your dreams, transforming your sleep visions into underwater symphonies. You dream of swimming alongside these intelligent creatures, learning their language not through study, but through direct emotional communication. Their joy becomes your joy, their playful curiosity becomes your own sense of wonder at the ocean's endless mysteries. The dolphin's presence attracts other marine life, creating a spontaneous gathering around your underwater sanctuary. It's as if word has spread through the ocean's communication networks that something special is happening here, and creatures from the surrounding reef have come to participate in this final night's magic. The water around your suite becomes a living cathedral where different species coexist in harmony, their various forms of natural illumination creating a light show that rivals any human artistic creation. Your final hours of underwater sleep are filled with dreams of integration and wholeness. You see yourself as a bridge between the surface world and the ocean depths, carrying messages of peace and wisdom from the sea to those who have never experienced its transformative embrace. You dream of returning to this underwater paradise, not as a guest, but as someone who truly belongs here, equally at home breathing air or water, equally comfortable in the pressurized depths or the sunlit shallows. The suite's wake-up system begins its gentle work as dawn approaches in the world above. But this morning's awakening process is different, more gradual and ceremonial, as if the ocean itself is reluctant to let you go. The lighting transitions happen more slowly, the temperature adjustments more subtly, and the sounds of the marine environment seem richer and more complex than ever before. It's as if every element of your underwater home is trying to give you one last perfect moment of oceanic consciousness. When you finally open your eyes for the last time in this underwater paradise, the view that greets you is more spectacular than anything you've seen during your stay. A massive school of tuna is passing by, their silver bodies creating a living river that flows around your suite with breathtaking coordination. Behind them, a group of manta rays performs what looks like an underwater ballet, their graceful movements perfectly synchronized with the filtered sunlight streaming down from the surface. Your body feels transformed as you stretch beneath the impossibly soft sheets. Every muscle seems more flexible, every joint more fluid. Your breathing has a depth and efficiency that makes each breath feel like a small celebration of life itself. Your skin glows with a vitality that comes from spending days breathing mineral-rich air and sleeping in the ocean's electromagnetic embrace. You feel like you've been reborn as a more perfected version of yourself. The final breakfast in your underwater dining room is a masterpiece that somehow captures the essence of transformation itself. Each dish seems designed to help you integrate the changes that have occurred in your body and consciousness during your stay. The flavors are complex yet comforting, familiar yet exotic, grounding you in the physical world while maintaining your connection to the oceanic realm you're preparing to leave. As you eat, a massive grouper that you've seen several times during your stay approaches the dining room window. This ancient fish, probably decades old and weighing several hundred pounds, hovers motionlessly outside the glass, its intelligent eyes meeting yours in what feels like a moment of mutual recognition and respect. It's as if this elder of the reef is offering a formal farewell, acknowledging your time as a temporary resident of its underwater domain. The morning's activities are designed to help you gradually transition back towards surface consciousness while preserving the profound changes that have occurred during your underwater stay. You're guided through gentle exercises that maintain your enhanced flexibility and breathing capacity. You practice meditation techniques that will allow you to access the peaceful states you've discovered here, even when surrounded by the noise and chaos of the surface world. The transition chamber becomes your final underwater experience, a specially designed space that gradually adjusts pressure and atmospheric composition to prepare your body for the return to surface conditions. But this isn't just physical preparation, it's a psychological and spiritual transition as well. Here, surrounded by panoramic views of the ocean depths, you're guided through visualization exercises that help you create internal anchors to this experience. You learn techniques for accessing ocean consciousness during stressful moments in surface life. Breathing patterns that recall the rhythm of deep currents. Visualization methods that can instantly transport you back to the peace of the underwater suite. And meditation practices that connect you to the vast, patient wisdom of the sea. These aren't just relaxation techniques, but practical tools for maintaining your connection to the transformative insights gained during your stay. The packing process feels surreal as you prepare to leave behind sheets that have learned your body's contours, pillows that have supported your head through the most restorative sleep of your life, and windows that have shown you wonders that exist nowhere else on Earth. Your personal belongings seem almost foreign now, artifacts from a surface life that feels distant and somewhat unreal compared to the vivid immediacy of underwater existence. Your butler presents you with a collection of specially prepared items to take with you, a vial of the mineral-rich water that has surrounded you for 3 days, crystals that have been charged in the ocean's electromagnetic field, and a recording of the whale songs that serenaded your final night. These physical mementos are intended to help you maintain your connection to the underwater experience and access the peaceful states you've achieved here. The farewell tour of the suite feels like saying goodbye to a living entity that has cared for you with unprecedented attention to your every need. Each room holds memories of transformation. The meditation chamber, where you learn to think like the ocean. The exercise pool, where you discovered new forms of fluid movement. The observation deck, where you witnessed the secret lives of deep-sea creatures. The suite has been more than accommodation. It has been a cocoon for metamorphosis. As you prepare to enter the deep elevator for your ascent to the surface, you take one final look around the bedroom that has sheltered your most profound sleep experiences. The circular bed sits empty now, but it seems to pulse with the memory of dreams that connected you to oceanic consciousness. The windows still frame views of the underwater world that has temporarily adopted you, and schools of fish swim past as if offering final farewells. The elevator begins its slow ascent, and you watch through transparent walls as the underwater world gradually recedes below you. The suite grows smaller and smaller, until it looks like a glowing jewel resting on the ocean floor. Marine life that has become familiar during your stay, the curious grouper, the family of angelfish, the graceful rays, continues its eternal dance around the structure that has been your home beneath the waves. As you rise through the water column, the light gradually changes from the deep blue of the ocean depths to the brighter turquoise of shallow water. Your ears adjust to the decreasing pressure, but your heart feels heavy with the knowledge that you're leaving behind a realm of peace and wonder that most humans never experience. The surface world awaits above, with all its noise and hurry and countless distractions from the simple perfection you've discovered in the ocean's embrace. But you carry within you now something that can never be taken away. The memory of sleeping 50 feet beneath the surface, surrounded by bioluminescent beauty, and cradled by currents that have flowed around the planet since before human history began. You've learned what it feels like to breathe ocean air, to dream underwater dreams, and to wake each morning feeling more alive and connected than ever before. The elevator breaks the surface with gentle splash, and suddenly you're back in the world of sun and sky and open air. The floating platform bobs gently on waves that now seem almost violent compared to the perfect stillness of your underwater bedroom. The seaplane waits nearby, ready to carry you back to airports and cities and the surface life you left behind 3 days ago. But as you step onto the platform and feel wind on your face for the first time in 72 hours, you know that you're not the same person who descended into the depths 3 nights ago. You've been transformed by the ocean's ancient wisdom, recharged by its electromagnetic embrace, and healed by its patient, flowing presence. The $50 million you've spent for this experience has purchased something far more valuable than luxury. It has brought you a new understanding of what it means to be truly at peace. The journey back to the surface world begins, but the ocean's gifts travel with you. In your enhanced breathing, your fluid movements, your calm center that remains unshaken by external turbulence. In all these ways, you carry the deep sea's wisdom back to share with a world that has forgotten how to be still, how to flow, how to rest in the embrace of something infinitely larger and more patient than human ambition. Your underwater odyssey has ended, but its effects will ripple through the rest of your life like waves spreading across still water, touching everything with the memory of what it feels like to sleep in paradise 50 feet beneath the sea. As you board the seaplane for your journey back to the surface world, the pilot greets you with knowing eyes. He's flown this route countless times, carrying guests who've emerged from the depths with that same expression you now wear, a mixture of profound peace and gentle disbelief at what they've just experienced. The plane's engines hum to life, but even their mechanical sound seems softer now, less jarring than you remember from your arrival 3 days ago. During takeoff, you watch through the small window as the floating platform shrinks away below, marking the entrance to a world that already feels like a beautiful dream. The ocean stretches endlessly in all directions, its surface deceptively simple compared to the complex universe of life and light you've just left behind. From up here, it's impossible to imagine the Crystal Palace resting 50 feet below, or the parade of marine life that continues its ancient dance around your former underwater home. The flight gives you time to process what has happened to your body and mind during your stay. Your breathing remains deeper and more rhythmic than before, each inhalation seeming to carry more oxygen than should be possible. Your skin still glows with that underwater radiance, as if you've absorbed some of the bioluminescent energy that surrounded you for 3 nights. Most remarkably, your thoughts move with a new fluidity, less rushed and anxious, more like gentle currents finding their natural path. Your fellow passengers on the seaplane seem to move through a different reality than the one you now inhabit. They check phones, fidget with luggage, engage in rapid conversations that feel almost violent after days of oceanic silence. You find yourself moving more slowly and deliberately, as if you're still underwater, still surrounded by the need for graceful, intentional motion. The contrast is stark, but not unpleasant. You feel like you're carrying a secret source of calm that nothing external can disturb. The landing at the coastal airport feels harsh after the gentle bob of the floating platform. Solid ground beneath your feet seems strangely rigid after days of surfaces that moved with the ocean's rhythm. The terminal bustles with typical airport energy, announcements echoing through speakers, travelers rushing past with wheeled luggage. The general atmosphere of urgency that characterizes modern travel. Yet you move through it all as if surrounded by an invisible buffer of tranquility. Your driver to the luxury resort, where you'll spend your final night before returning home, notices something different about you immediately. "You have that underwater glow," he says with a smile. "I can always tell the guests who've been to the deep suite. There's something in your eyes, a kind of peace that doesn't usually exist up here." Okay. His words confirm what you've been sensing, that your time beneath the waves has left visible marks of transformation. The resort, perched on cliffs overlooking the same ocean that housed your underwater sanctuary, feels almost primitive compared to the technological marvel you've just left. Your suite here is beautiful, with floor-to-ceiling windows facing the sea and furnishings that speak of understated luxury. But after sleeping in a crystal dome surrounded by bioluminescent creatures, even 5-star accommodations feel somehow limited, bound by the constraints of terrestrial architecture. Your first surface shower in 3 days becomes a meditation on the difference between artificial water and the living ocean that recently embraced you. The water pressure feels harsh, the temperature too controlled, the experience too isolated from the natural world. You find yourself closing your eyes and remembering the sensation of floating in the suite's infinity pool, where warm currents flowed around you and small fish occasionally swam through your bathing space. Dinner at the resort's acclaimed restaurant presents an interesting challenge for your transformed palate. The flavors that once would have impressed you now seem somehow flat, lacking the complex mineral notes and impossible tastes you've grown accustomed to in your underwater dining experiences. The chef's creations are undoubtedly skillful, but they pale in comparison to meals that somehow captured the essence of ocean currents and deep-sea mysteries. As night falls, you position yourself on your suite's private terrace, looking out over the dark water that hides the entrance to your former underwater home. The ocean's surface reflects moonlight in patterns that seem almost like a message. Ripples and waves creating temporary words in a language you're only beginning to understand. Somewhere beneath those waves, your crystal bedroom still glows with gentle light, still hosts the eternal dance of marine life that has become part of your dreams. Your sleep on this final night before returning home is different from both your underwater rest and your previous surface sleeping patterns. Your body has retained some of the ocean's rhythm. You breathe more slowly. Your heartbeat maintains that steady pulse you learned in the depths, and your dreams continue to feature underwater landscapes and impossible conversations with sea creatures. But there's also an awareness of transition, a gentle sadness at leaving behind a way of being that felt more natural than anything you'd previously experienced. Morning brings the inevitable return to airports, security lines, and the mechanical efficiency of commercial aviation. As your flight takes off, you catch a final glimpse of the ocean that sheltered your transformation. From this altitude, it looks peaceful and unchanging, giving no hint of the wonders hidden beneath its surface. Only you and a select few others know about the crystal palace resting in the depths, about the possibility of sleeping surrounded by bioluminescent beauty, about the profound peace that comes from surrendering to the ocean's ancient embrace. The flight home becomes a gradual re-entry into your former life, but you're acutely aware that you're not the same person who boarded a plane just days earlier. Your fellow passengers seem to exist in a state of constant low-level stress that you no longer share. Flight delays don't frustrate you, crying children don't irritate you, and the general chaos of travel flows around you like water around a stone. You've learned something about patience from the ocean itself, something about the power of remaining calm and fluid regardless of external turbulence. Your arrival home presents the ultimate test of how well you can maintain your oceanic consciousness in familiar surroundings. The house that once felt like your sanctuary now seems almost claustrophobic after days of 360-degree ocean views. The walls feel too solid, the air too still, the silence too empty compared to the rich acoustic environment of the underwater suite. Even your own bed, once the pinnacle of comfort, feels somehow limited after sleeping in sheets that responded to your every movement. But as days pass, you begin to discover ways to integrate your underwater experience into surface life. The breathing techniques you learned in the depths help you remain calm during stressful work meetings. The fluid movement patterns you absorbed from watching marine life make your daily activities more graceful and efficient. Most importantly, the deep peace you discovered 50 feet beneath the surface becomes an internal anchor you can access whenever the surface world threatens to overwhelm your senses. You find yourself drawn to bodies of water in ways you never were before, taking longer showers with your eyes closed, sitting by fountains during lunch breaks, planning weekend trips to lakes and rivers. Each encounter with water becomes a small return to that state of oceanic consciousness, a brief reconnection with the transformative peace you discovered in the depths. Your friends and family notice these changes, commenting on your increased calmness, your improved sleep, your general air of contentment that seems unshakable. The mineral-rich water you brought back from the suite becomes a daily ritual, a few drops added to your morning glass that carries with it the memory of breathing ocean air. The whale song recordings play softly in your bedroom each night, helping to recreate the acoustic environment that promoted your most restorative sleep. The charged crystals rest on your nightstand, their presence somehow maintaining a subtle connection to the electromagnetic fields that surrounded you beneath the waves. Months later, as you share selective details of your experience with trusted friends, you realize that no description can truly convey what it means to sleep 50 feet beneath the ocean's surface. Words seem inadequate to capture the sensation of being cradled by currents, surrounded by bioluminescent beauty, and gently rocked to sleep by the planet's own heartbeat. The experience transcends luxury or even adventure. It represents a form of consciousness that most humans never access, a way of being that connects you directly to the ancient wisdom of the sea. You begin planning your return visit before you've even fully processed the first one. The suite has a waiting list that stretches years into the future, but you've already secured your place for another 3-day immersion in oceanic consciousness. Because now you understand what $50 million really purchases. Not just accommodation or unique experiences, but transformation itself. The ability to step outside human limitations and temporarily become something more fluid, more connected, more at peace with the vast mysteries that surround us. Your underwater odyssey has ended, but its effects continue to ripple through every aspect of your life. You carry within you now the memory of perfect sleep, of dreams that connected you to something infinitely larger than individual consciousness, of waking each morning feeling more alive than you ever thought possible. The ocean has marked you as one of its own, and that mark will remain visible to those who know how to look. A gentle radiance that speaks of depths most people never imagine, dreams most minds never dream, and peace most souls never find. In quiet moments, when the surface world grows too loud or demanding, you close your eyes and return in memory to that crystal bedroom surrounded by living light. You remember the sensation of breathing ocean air, of sleeping in the sea's embrace, of being temporarily adopted by a realm where time moves differently and consciousness expands beyond normal boundaries. And in those memories, you find not just peace, but a promise that such transcendent experiences are possible, that human consciousness can be transformed by surrendering to forces older and wiser than civilization itself. Your time in the $50 million underwater suite has given you something far more valuable than luxury. It has shown you what it means to truly rest, to genuinely connect with the natural world, and to discover forms of peace that exist nowhere else on Earth. The investment was substantial, but the return has been immeasurable. A transformed relationship with sleep, with nature, with your own capacity for wonder and transcendence. As you drift off to sleep each night in your surface bedroom, aided by whale songs and the memory of bioluminescent beauty, you carry with you the knowledge that somewhere beneath the waves, your crystal palace still glows with gentle light. Marine life still dances past its windows, currents still rock its foundations, and the eternal peace of the deep ocean still waits for those brave enough to descend into its embrace and discover what it truly means to sleep in paradise. The experience stays with you in ways that defy explanation. Weeks pass, then months, and still you find yourself unconsciously mimicking the slow, rhythmic breathing patterns that became second nature in those pressurized depths. Your sleep cycles have permanently shifted, requiring less rest, but achieving deeper restoration than you ever thought possible. Friends comment on the change in your complexion, the way your skin seems to hold light differently, as if you've absorbed some of the ocean's own luminescence. Your relationship with water has transformed completely. Every shower becomes a small meditation. Every swim, a return to that fluid state of consciousness you discovered 50 feet below the surface. You catch yourself moving differently through the world, with the unhurried grace you learned from watching rays glide through their liquid environment. Stress seems to flow around you now, rather than through you, like currents encountering a smooth stone on the ocean floor. The dreams continue, long after your return, rich and vivid in ways that feel more real than waking life. You find yourself swimming through coral cities that exist only in sleep, conversing with ancient sea creatures in languages that bypass words entirely. These nocturnal journeys feel less like dreams and more like visits to a parallel realm where your consciousness has learned to exist as naturally as your body exists on land. Your work colleagues notice the change during high-pressure meetings. Where once you might have felt your heart racing and palms sweating, now you simply breathe deeper and allow the chaos to wash over you like gentle waves. The techniques you learned in the meditation chambers have become automatic responses to stress, turning every difficult moment into an opportunity to reconnect with that profound peace you discovered in the depths. The recordings of whale songs have become your nightly soundtrack, their deep melodies carrying you into sleep states that feel like returning home to a place you never knew you'd left. Your bedroom has been subtly transformed with elements that evoke your underwater sanctuary, soft blue lighting that dims gradually, a small fountain whose gentle sounds mimic the suite's water circulation, and crystals positioned to catch moonlight in patterns reminiscent of bioluminescent displays. You've started seeking out others who've had similar transformative experiences, discovering a quiet community of individuals who've touched something beyond ordinary consciousness through extended immersion in natural environments. The conversations with these kindred souls require few words, as if you all speak a common language, learned in places where human speech becomes unnecessary. Their eyes hold the same depth you recognize in your own reflection, a quality that suggests they've seen wonders that can't be adequately shared, but only hinted at through meaningful glances and understanding nods. Your perspective on luxury has been permanently altered. Material possessions that once excited you now seem somehow hollow, lacking the living quality of experiences that change your fundamental relationship with existence itself. You find yourself investing in adventures that promise transformation rather than comfort, seeking out opportunities to challenge your consciousness in environments that demand presence and adaptability. The waiting list for your return to the underwater suite stretches into years, but the anticipation has become part of the experience itself. You spend time researching other extraordinary accommodations, tree houses suspended in old-growth canopies, ice hotels that melt and reform with the seasons, desert camps positioned for optimal stargazing. Each represents a different form of surrender to natural forces, a willingness to step outside human-controlled environments and allow yourself to be shaped by something larger. Your sleep hygiene has evolved into a nightly ritual that honors the profound rest you discovered beneath the waves. The hour before bed becomes sacred time, devoted to gentle stretching that mimics the fluid movements of sea creatures, meditation practices that recreate the acoustic environment of the depths, and gratitude exercises that acknowledge the privilege of having experienced consciousness in such an extraordinary setting. The mineral supplements you've incorporated into your daily routine help maintain the enhanced energy levels you discovered underwater. Your body seems to crave elements that exist in abundance in ocean environments, and providing them artificially helps preserve some of the vitality you absorbed during those 3 transformative days. Your physician is amazed by improvements in your cardiovascular health, respiratory efficiency, and overall biomarkers that suggest your body has learned to function at a more optimal level. Photography from your underwater stay adorns your living space now, but these images serve as more than mere decoration. They function as portals, visual anchors that instantly transport your consciousness back to that state of oceanic peace whenever the surface world becomes overwhelming. A single glance at the image of bioluminescent creatures flowing past your former bedroom window can shift your entire nervous system from stress to serenity within moments. You've become something of an unofficial ambassador for transformative travel, sharing carefully chosen details of your experience with individuals you sense might be ready for such profound shifts in consciousness. Not everyone understands the value of investing such resources in temporary experiences rather than permanent possessions, but those who do listen with the hungry attention of souls seeking their own forms of transcendence. The business world has become easier to navigate with your enhanced ability to remain centered regardless of external circumstances. Negotiations flow more smoothly when you approach them with the patience of ocean currents, allowing solutions to emerge naturally rather than forcing outcomes through aggressive tactics. Your colleagues have begun seeking your input on difficult decisions, somehow sensing that your perspective encompasses a broader view of what truly matters. Your relationship with time has fundamentally shifted since learning to synchronize with rhythms older than human civilization. Deadlines still exist, but they no longer carry the same weight of urgency that once made your pulse quicken. You've learned to work with natural energy cycles rather than against them, accomplishing more with less effort by aligning your activities with your body's enhanced understanding of optimal timing. The anticipation of returning to your underwater sanctuary has become a source of deep comfort during challenging periods. Knowing that such profound peace exists and remains accessible to you creates an unshakable foundation beneath even the most turbulent circumstances. The suite waits in its crystal perfection, maintaining its gentle glow in the depths, ready to welcome you back into its transformative embrace whenever your scheduled return arrives. Your investment of $50 million has yielded returns that compound daily, not in financial terms, but in quality of consciousness, depth of sleep, and capacity for joy. The experience has become a reference point for what peak human experience can encompass, a reminder that ordinary limitations are often self-imposed, and that extraordinary states of being remain available to those willing to step outside conventional boundaries. Your transformation extends far beyond personal experience into how you perceive the very nature of existence itself. The boundaries between sleeping and waking have become more fluid, with moments of deep rest occurring spontaneously throughout your day, whenever you reconnect with the breathing patterns learned in oceanic depths. Your consciousness has developed an ability to shift into that profound stillness, even during mundane activities, turning grocery shopping or commuting into opportunities for the same meditative awareness you discovered 50 feet beneath the surface. The memory of marine life moving in perfect harmony around your crystal sanctuary has influenced how you navigate human relationships. Conflicts that once would have triggered defensive responses now flow around you like currents around coral formations. You've learned to read the emotional undercurrents in conversations with the same sensitivity you developed for sensing the approach of dolphins through water vibrations. This heightened awareness allows you to respond rather than react, bringing the ocean's patient wisdom into every interpersonal exchange. Your physical health continues to reflect the cellular regeneration that began during those nights of mineral-rich sleep. Annual medical checkups reveal improvements that puzzle healthcare providers unfamiliar with the concept of consciousness-based healing. Your bone density has increased, your cardiovascular markers suggest someone decades younger, and your immune system functions with an efficiency that prevents minor illnesses from taking hold. The doctors attribute these changes to improved sleep quality, but you understand they stem from something far more profound than conventional rest. The way you perceive color has permanently shifted since witnessing the impossible hues that exist only in the deep ocean's bioluminescent displays. Sunsets now reveal subtle gradations you never noticed before, as if your eyes have been calibrated to detect frequencies of light that exist at the margins of normal human vision. Artists' paintings seem either flat or magnificent, depending on whether they capture something of the living quality you observed in underwater illumination, and you find yourself drawn to works that suggest the movement and depth of aquatic environments. Your home has gradually transformed into a terrestrial echo of your underwater sanctuary, with flowing forms replacing angular furniture, soft lighting that mimics the suite's gentle illumination, and audio systems that can reproduce the full frequency range of whale songs and deep ocean ambience. Visitors comment on the unusual sense of peace they experience in your space, often lingering longer than planned and leaving refreshed in ways they can't quite articulate. The environment has become a healing space that extends the suite's transformative influence to others. The anticipation of your scheduled return visit has evolved into a form of spiritual practice, with each passing month bringing you closer to another immersion in oceanic consciousness. You've begun preparing for the experience through enhanced meditation practices, dietary changes that align with marine ecosystems, and physical conditioning that will allow even deeper surrender to the underwater environment. The preparation itself has become transformative, creating layers of meaning that extend far beyond the original 3-day experience. Your understanding of luxury has evolved to encompass experiences that expand consciousness rather than merely providing comfort. The most expensive wines now taste hollow compared to the nectar-like beverages served in your underwater dining chamber, and the finest hotels feel constraining after sleeping in a crystal dome surrounded by infinite space. True luxury, you've discovered, lies in accessing states of being that money typically cannot purchase, yet occasionally becomes available to those willing to invest completely in transcendent possibilities. The ripple effects of your transformation continue expanding outward, touching every aspect of your existence with the gentle persistence of ocean currents. Friends and family members report feeling more peaceful after spending time with you, as if your enhanced state of being creates a field of tranquility that influences everyone within its radius. This isn't something you consciously project but rather a natural emanation of the deep peace that has taken permanent residence within your being. Your dreams have become a nightly return to the underwater realm, so vivid and consistent that you've begun keeping detailed journals of these nocturnal journeys. The dream experiences feel like continued education in oceanic consciousness, with each night bringing new insights into the nature of flow, depth, and surrender. These dream teachings have practical applications in your waking life, offering solutions to challenges through the same fluid intelligence you observed in marine ecosystems. The countdown to your return continues, but the waiting has transformed from anticipation into a form of extended meditation on the nature of time itself. You've learned that extraordinary experiences exist outside normal temporal frameworks, expanding moments into eternities while simultaneously making years feel like heartbeats. The suite waits in its timeless perfection, ready to welcome you back into depths where consciousness expands beyond ordinary limitations, and sleep becomes a doorway to oceanic infinity. As this journey draws to its close, you understand that some experiences transcend documentation, existing beyond the reach of cameras or words. What happened in those crystal depths 50 feet beneath the surface belongs to a category of human experience that can only be lived, never fully captured or conveyed. Yet in sharing even fragments of this underwater odyssey, perhaps we've opened a window into possibilities that await those brave enough to surrender completely to the transformative embrace of the deep ocean's ancient wisdom. The memory lingers like the taste of sea salt on your lips, a reminder that paradise isn't a destination, but a state of consciousness, accessible to those willing to descend into depths, both literal and metaphorical. Your $50 million investment purchased more than accommodation beneath the waves. It brought you a new understanding of what it means to be truly alive, completely at peace, and perfectly at home in the vast mystery that surrounds us all. And somewhere, 50 feet beneath the surface of an endless ocean, your crystal sanctuary continues its patient glow, waiting for your return to the only place on Earth where sleeping and dreaming become indistinguishable from paradise itself.